There's a certain kind of runner. Maybe you're one of them. They don't need a group. They don't need the Saturday crew. They just show up running by themselves, rain or shine. If you ask them why they run alone, most of them will just shrug. Because the real answer isn't about running or a concrete training plan. It's about something else entirely. And most solo runners never quite know how to explain it. Let me do my best to explain this feeling with my own story and in my own words. I'm one of those runners. People assume I run alone because I don't like people, or I'm just very focused and know what I want in life. The know what I want in life part is partly true, but me not liking people is definitely wrong. I run alone because I care too much about protecting what running gives me. What I didn't realize when I started running was that running alone was slowly changing the way I made decisions everywhere else in my life. I started running when I was 33, but the reason why I run goes deeper than my age. Before I ever laced up and started running consistently, I had a spontaneous collapsed lung. There weren't any warnings or signs leading up to it. In fact, when it happened, I thought I was in the best shape I've ever been. Doctor couldn't tell me why it happened, and how spontaneous it is really scares me. If there's no cause, then it could happen again anytime in the future. And I grew up knowing my cardio was my weak point. For a long time, I used that as an excuse for not running. But one thing has shifted after the collapsed lung incident. Being so close to death, I didn't want the feeling of losing without having to put in the work first. If something was going to happen to my lungs again, I wanted to know I've done everything I could. So I made a promise to myself. Running is not just to be another, I'll just do it and see how it goes type of habit. It has to be something that would permanently stick in me, part of a routine that is part of my life. Because I refuse to lose something that I never fight for. There is this idea called internal locus of control. It means believing your outcome depends entirely on you. I didn't learn this from school. I learned this when I realized early in my career that nobody is tracking my growth except myself. Over the years, questioning why certain outcomes that I want didn't happen, I understood that if something's wrong, only I can take control of it. So I've been building this muscle of self-reliance since this realization. And running became that purest expression of that. Every part of running is controlled by me. If I didn't run today, it's on me. If I ignore my recovery, it's totally on me as well. Nothing I found so far is better and simpler way to practice self-reliance than running itself. Now, I've run with people before, and this is what I've noticed. There was a Parkrun right after my birthday. I had my own intention going in, but I got invited to chase a PB. Everyone was wearing the same shoes and they were ready to do the same thing. So I followed along. Eventually I finished it. I did finish with a new PB. It didn't injure me, and it's certainly not a bad decision or anything, but it made me more tired than I was supposed to be and affected the recovery I needed. It shifted what I have to do in the next days after. Look, I'm not saying that I should always stick with my own plan. I love being a social follower from time to time, and that's what makes me a better social people. But the thing is, every time I run with others, especially with a bigger group of people, there's always this hidden pressure to do something with them, right? Either it is to run a certain speed or having to chat with somebody beside you. Again, there isn't anything wrong with that. It's just a payoff that I need to accept when I run with other people. So I spend about 20% of the time running with others and most of my time running by myself. Personally, I love running in the morning to start my day, before I respond to any messages, before the demand of work and family arrives. That's also why it makes running with others very difficult. The timing I ran just won't easily work out with others. Sometimes this kind of discipline comes from you practicing through wanting to do it naturally. Not partly because my training plan says so, or some other people drag me out to run. And when I choose to run at this time, I felt like the pressure I put on myself, the expectation to be productive, they just disappeared throughout the run. I've never found another way that works better than running before I started running. And I've needed that for a long time. Running has slowly become the place where my creativity happens and my pressure is being processed. For every run I finish, it ends with the same question. Did today's run do what it's supposed to do? And I don't mean to beat myself up out there or judge myself when I didn't do it right. I actually mean that I'm very, very clear about what today's run was meant to give me. When I run with others, most of the times I have people telling me I should do X instead of Y. And right after that, the voice in my head also always says something along the line of, hey, thanks for the suggestions, but that's not today's run is for. And if that sounds familiar to you, if you're the kind of person who always put everyone else first in your daily life, that hour alone is the 1 hour that you need to stop caring about others and start taking care of yourself. Here's the thing, running alone doesn't make you more disciplined. It makes you more honest to yourself. And that's what I found. I had a period where I wasn't progressing in running at all. I wasn't running any faster, but I kept my promise and fulfilled every session that I was supposed to do. I felt like I was working just as hard as before, but there's no progress other than feeling more tired over time. And when I'm alone, there's nobody to blame. Nobody for me to compare myself to. So I had to sit with the thoughts. And eventually I told myself, I must be doing something wrong, right? I thought to myself, the pace I was chasing for, it was supposed to make me faster, right? But I was so fixated in hitting it, it blinded me from what actually mattered. It was the recovery, the effort I was supposed to put into each session. I actually needed less, not more. I only figured that out because nobody else was there. Nobody was telling what I needed to hear, and I couldn't blame anyone else for their advice. The honesty and clarity comes together when I evaluate myself when I'm running alone. All right, before we get back to the video, I would like to share something that I've been building recently. One of the favorite things that I love building these videos is to read your comments, to see what people are struggling with who are also building a healthy running habit. So I have been thinking for a while, and I thought, what if there's an actual place for us to actually share our experience together and understand what each other's struggles a little bit further than just me shooting these videos for you. So I've started a Felix In Stride community where you can follow along what I've been testing and experimenting. And eventually I want to build this community into something that we have a lot more interactions, and I got to share more of my experience more in depth. So this is my open invitation to you. If you're interested to join the places for people like us, click on the link in front of me. There's a free tier that you can just come here, join us and follow along. You'll get way more than just the videos that I've been shooting in this YouTube channel. Or you can also join the paid tier where we will actually build this community together, and we got to shape, what kind of interactions, what kind of engagement, what kind of community we want to build together. All right, without further ado, let's get back to the video. Now I have to tell you about the other side of running alone. It has a cost. There was one long run I did recently. It was raining and there was no cars, no pedestrians, just me by myself. In that complete silence, I secretly wish someone was there. I wish someone that could share that moment with me, where we both finished in a miserable weather and a heart challenging, and tell each other, hey, good job, you did it. And instead, because I'm running alone, I just silently do it to myself. And despite moments like that, honestly, I would still choose to do it again, because I would rather feel lonely for an hour than to lose the relationship I've been building with running. These moments definitely exist throughout my running journey. Moments when I want someone to say, hey, let's take a break. Hey, can you slow me down? Or, someone who could make me realize I might be running too much. I definitely missed it from time to time moments when someone just run beside me without talking. Because here's what running alone actually protects. It's not about being alone, it's actually about the hour where there are zero distractions between me and what I set out to do. There's no space for me to blame anything else or anyone else. And in that hour, I finally know whether I was being honest with myself. For the runner that truly gets it, they will do whatever it takes to protect that hour, even if it means running by themselves. Because for that 1 hour, running belongs completely to us, to ourselves. If you're one of those runners, drop a comment. Tell me why you run alone. I actually wanted to know. My name is Felix, just figuring things out one run at a time. If you are not a runner yet, but you're ready to go all in to build a healthy running habit, go check out my playlist on how I built my running habit around. Or check out this video that YouTube thinks you should be watching next. Pick one, and I'll see you on the next one.